Hi, I'm Marty Cohn, and welcome to episode 6 of Rotary Cares, a monthly show that answers every question you could possibly have about Rotary International. Rotary is a global network of 1.2 million neighbors, friends, leaders, and problem solvers that come together to make positive, lasting change in communities at home and abroad. Established over 110 years ago, Rotary now has 35,000 clubs worldwide. Rotary's motto is service above self, and Rotarians adhere to the four-way test, an ethical guide for Rotarians to use for their personal and professional lives. The test has been translated into more than 100 languages. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? In Brattleboro, there are 2 clubs. There's the Brattleboro Rotary Club that meets every Thursday for lunch at the American Legion, and the Sunrise Rotary Club, which meets every Wednesday for breakfast, also at the American Legion. Today, we're going to be talking about memberships, and our guests are longstanding member Turner Lewis and the newest and I believe the youngest member, Bethany Martin. Welcome, Turner.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate you asking me to come.
So, right off the bat, how long have you been a member of Rotary?
As of December of this year, it'll be 50 years that I've been a member of Rotary.
50 years?
Almost half the existence of Rotary. Yep.
Wow. So that means 50 years ago, and has that been at one club, or have you?
No, four clubs. When I got out of school, I'm a veterinarian, and I got out of Michigan State University, and I worked with a guy in Stoneham, Mass., and he was one of my mentors as well. I mean, he and my father-in-law both were the ones that encouraged me to get involved, always saying that the service above self aspect of Rotary was something that I desired to do. I always figured that if you took your living from a community, it would be nice to give something back to the community.
Great.
And that was a way that I felt that I could do, and that my expertise would be appreciated the most.
Great, great. So then you joined what other clubs?
I worked for this. I was an associate veterinarian for 3 years in Stoneham, Mass. And then, unfortunately, one of the practitioners in Chelsea, Mass. died. And so I went down there and bought that practice and worked for 38 years down there. And then after I retired, I went to my hometown of Wakefield, Massachusetts.
Okay.
And I was there for 3 years until we moved up here. And then I joined the Brattleboro Sunrise. So this is my 4th club.
Fantastic. So you mentioned the reason that you joined was service above self. And is that something that you feel that you've been able to do as a Rotarian?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so what have you done as a Rotarian, service above self?
Well, I mean, in the various clubs, I've obviously held many positions. I'm a past president, and in the Boston area, I was also involved in the district level.
Wow.
So I was the assistant district treasurer for 2 or 3 years, and then I was the district treasurer for 6 years. So
wow.
I got involved there. They wanted me to be, go up to the hierarchy, and I said, no, I can't do that because I was open at night. And so being district governor, we would not allow that because of the hour, aspect. So which was unfortunate because I looked forward to doing something like that, but at that point in time, I just couldn't do it.
Wow. Okay. So, but what about when you came up here? You were retired. You said
that's correct.
And you joined the Sunrise Club. And what have you done with Sunrise?
Well, and just the projects that we have going on, ongoing projects. For example, the 3-on-3 basketball tournament, which we just had this last weekend.
Right.
And we've had, I have a house that's out in Halifax, and it's got a big area, so we have a changeover party periodically out at my house.
Great.
And yeah, it's very nice. I like to have more of those events where the women are involved, or the men, depending on which aspect you're looking at. But yeah, and I get involved in as many things as around. We have a trivia thing on Mondays, second Monday of the month, and we've done that for I don't know how many years it's going on now. And it's always for a nonprofit that benefits by it, and everybody has a very good time. I'm involved in that.
Sure. So this is going to probably be a tough question for you, though. In looking at 50 years of being a Rotarian, what's your favorite memory?
That's almost impossible to say. Some of the things that I've got the greatest enjoyment out is, believe it or not, making up in other countries. I've been all around the world, so to speak. I haven't been all around, but I mean, we've traveled extensively, and that's one of the highlights. You go to a club, and you're just like you have brothers and sisters right there.
Wow!
They accept you.
Name one place where.
Well, I was just in Rome, for example.
Yeah.
And that was a neat place. I've been made up in Switzerland, in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Chile, Peru.
Now, do you exchange? Do you do the exchange of the banners?
Absolutely.
Now, so for everyone who's watching or listening, every club has a banner. And when you visit another club, there's actually a little presentation that goes on. You present them with your club banner, and then you get one, and then the clubs display all those. So when you were in Rome, did they speak Italian, or was it English?
The meeting was in Italian,
right?
But I was sitting at a table where there was a multitude of people that spoke English, so it was, and they were telling me what was going on, and
fantastic.
it was great. I loved that. Another thing, I have given several Paul Harris Awards anonymously. And to see these people get them when they're unexpected is a very, I mean, the service above self. I mean, that's what it is. You're always giving. You're always giving something, and that's what I love doing.
That's
so
great. That's great.
That's one of the ways I do it. So.
Great. So again, looking at the 50 years, you've seen a lot of changes.
Certainly.
So what kind of changes have you seen in the 50 years since you've been a member of Rotary?
Well, by far the most significant change was when women were allowed, which was in the early 80s.
Right.
And in fact, I was president when they were first allowed, and it was quite interesting because this Chelsea club that I was in, we had a number of people that came over from the Boston club because the gal who did our lunches was known for putting out a very, very good lunch, and they all came over and they all went to this one table. They always sat there, and I thought, now how can I get these guys to just move around so we can get to know them a little better?
Sure.
So I stood at the door when people were coming in. I said, I want you to grab a number out of the hat, and they would all grab different numbers. And I said, now these are the tables that I want you to sit at. Well, by the time I rung the meeting to order, they were all back. They had traded numbers so they could sit together again. So obviously didn't work.
Right.
But I always thought that was a great thing. I mean, Rotary means to rotate. You rotate around. You sit with different people every week, so you get more information from various sources.
Sure.
That was one of the things I tried
the fellowship that's
Absolutely.
involved. But talk about that change when women. It was actually fought in a legal case.
Yeah, absolutely.
But women finally were seen, because up to that point there was actually a separate organization, for spouses.
Rotary-Anns, they called them. Yes,
that's correct.
Yeah.
So then women came in, and now it's Sunrise Rotary has had a number of female presidents.
Currently, we have one.
Brattleboro Rotary has female presidents. We're seeing the numbers.
No, it was a very, very good thing. The only thing that I made as a suggestion, and it fortunately was followed through, was when we did take in women the first time. I just said, I don't want somebody to come and say I was the first woman Rotary member of this club. So I said, we're going to take in at least 3 women at the same time. 2 of them turned out to be fantastic members. One was one of those peripheral ones that was looking for things other than being given the service above self stuff. So
right.
that worked out well.
Great. Those we call those rhinos, Rotary in name only. That's a rhino. Well, that's a significant. That was a significant change.
That was the most in my career.
Think about it. We're talking about something that was 30 years ago.
Oh yeah.
So
polio plus is of course the other really, really big significant thing that came down the pike.
Sure.
And I was there when it was started, and been able to see how it's progressed. Now we're down to very, very minimal number of worldwide polio things. So that's been huge. Those are by far the 2 biggest things I saw, and I participated in many different donation type scenarios where we could garner money for that, and when we've paid a large amount. So, and got other people to participate as well.
Now, that's something that we actually talked on our last show. When you add up all the money that Rotarians give, not only to international projects, but also locally, it's a sizable amount of money. And when you think about the time that you've put into a number of these projects, a lot of the community projects that you've worked on.
And then, of course, the Gates Foundation came and helped us significantly in that as well, which is very nice.
So now you're talking about the Polio Plus.
That is correct.
And again, starting in 1985-ish, started by Rotary, and then the Gates Foundation came in.
That's correct.
Again, something that is a significant, check. Yay, service above self in terms of what we're doing. All right, so here's the last question for you. What is the best thing for you about being a Rotarian?
I would say making the community and the world a better place to live by service above self. Basically, that's it.
That says it. Well, Turner Lewis, thanks for taking the time to being on the show.
My pleasure.
We'll be right back with our guest, Bethany Martin. But first, this brief message from a Rotarian president from Georgia about what it means to him about being a Rotarian. We'll be right back.
Rotarians contribute their time, energy, and passion to sustainable, long-term projects in their local communities and across the globe. I am often asked, what is Rotary? Rather than answering that question, I want to tell you what it means to me to be a Rotarian. I believe in Rotary and its motto of service above self. I believe in maintaining high ethical standards in one's business, profession, and one's personal life. I look for ways to engage Rotary and get involved. I support the Rotary Foundation to do good throughout the world. Being a Rotarian is a way of life, a satisfying, lifelong adventure I'm willing to give to, be a part of all that Rotary has to offer. I'm willing to dig a well that I will never drink from, build a house that I will never sleep in, prepare a meal that I will not eat. I trust the foundation to do good with the donations I give, help eradicate a disease. I am willing to step out of my comfort zone to serve those in need. What are you willing to do? I am proud to be a Rotarian. Join the movement and help change the face of Rotary.
Welcome back to Rotary Cares, the monthly show that tells you everything you want to know about Rotary and more. Our guest is Bethany Martin, the newest and possibly youngest member of the Brattleboro Sunrise Rotary Club. Welcome, Bethany.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Thanks for really taking the time. So, we haven't met before, but I've heard such wonderful things about you. You were a student Rotarian at Sunrise.
Yes.
So what did you learn about Rotary from that experience, being a student Rotarian at Sunrise?
Well, being a student Rotarian, it was a little nerve-wracking because I had no idea what the heck it was I was going into. Some of my friends from previous years of being a student Rotarian had told me that you go into morning meetings and you just kind of talk about stuff that happens in the school and everything, and I was like, all right, I can do that. But essentially what I learned was just about all the different people in the community that are part of a bigger aspect of bettering the community. That's what I learned as a student Rotarian.
Well, that's great. That's great. Now, did you, as a student Rotarian, did you work on any projects?
I did. I tried to help out as much as I could. As a student Rotarian, we were only supposed to be going like every other week kind of thing to Rotary meetings. I fell in love with Rotary and the members there, and I ended up going to meetings almost every week if I possibly could.
Wow.
Yeah, quite some early mornings, but that's okay.
That's fantastic. Now, you were a student, which high school?
BUHS.
BUHS, okay, Brattleboro. So then you graduate, and you're now at Franklin Pierce University.
Yes.
But you decided to maintain a membership, actually become a member of the Sunrise Rotary. Mm-hmm. Why did you do that? I from a young age, I've always been doing community service work. When I was in kindergarten, I started out with my family working every other Saturday at St. Bridget's Kitchen in town, feeding homeless people or people that were not able to afford meals for themselves and just wanted a nice meal and some nice company. And it was through that and through other aspects in my life, like babysitting or seeing some of my friends having like issues at home and stuff, and I just wanted to be able to help people. And Rotary was a way to help people throughout a small community, but also on a larger scale as well. So now what's interesting is the image of a Rotarian tends to be, older white guys, and one of our problems as is attracting younger members. Right. What do you think Rotary can do to attract folks like yourself?
Younger like myself.
Younger folks.
Okay, stop. Not all of the people in Rotary are old. I think they do deserve a little bit of credit for being in Rotary.
The median age is 57. So
true.
True. That's not, in fairness, but it's younger than you. You're much younger than the median age.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it's just going out into the community and trying to bring in more people such as myself. So going into the school environment and teaching people about what Rotary is, because as a student Rotarian, I got pulled into the principal's office and asked if I wanted to do this thing for our school, and I was like, I've never heard of this. It's never been broadcasted. I didn't know Rotary existed at all. So I think it's something that the schools need to help bring about and inform people at a younger age. So if Rotary could go in and give a presentation one day about what Rotary is and what Rotary can do for you and for people around you, I think that's a great way to get more members that are younger.
That's a great idea. Well, but let me ask you, what about your friends? What do you tell your friends about being a Rotary member?
Well, when I tell people that I'm part of Rotary, they ask me what Rotary is, and I'm like, oh, well, it's this group that meets every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., and then they look at me and they go, ugh, 7 a.m., that's too early. And I'm like, well, they're happy people. It's a nice time to get together and have coffee and breakfast, and we talk about issues throughout the community that we can possibly solve with fundraisers and everything. And then they ask me who are the other people that are in the group, and I tell them it's older people, and they're like, oh, you're part of an old people club.
It always comes back to that. Okay.
And I happen to be a part of the Brattleboro American Legion band as well, so I get picked on for being another young member of an old people club. So, but no, I think once I tell my friends what it is I do, they have a little more respect for me.
Great.
And I tell them how Rotary can help in other aspects of your life. Like, it is a great way to make connections and network with people to hopefully one day get you somewhere in whatever field it is that you're in. For example, I just applied for an internship at CNS Wholesalers, and our current president's husband works over there. And I didn't know that until after my interview and everything. And it's just amazing to see how everyone and everything is connected.
It's all one big Rotary thing going on.
Absolutely.
But let me ask you, in terms of projects, you know, we've talked in other shows, and we heard Turner talk about there's international projects, there's community projects. What kind of projects excite you?
Honestly, I think more in the community, because I haven't been so much outside of New England and everything, and I want to help better the rest of the world, but bettering the rest of the world is one community at a time.
Sure.
So you need to take it from where you are, and then hope that it will spread throughout the rest of the country and everything. But like the big projects that I have helped with have been Trivia Night, which Turner was talking about earlier, where we do it the first Monday of every month pretty much, and whatever proceeds go towards the trivia night actually go towards a nonprofit organization.
Sure.
So raising money for local organizations. And then there's other things like cooking dinner for the overflow shelter. We do that, I think once a month maybe, but I've cooked a couple of times for that. And it's just a great way to get out in the community.
So those are good. What's nice is there's a mix. So it's not just fundraising, but there's actually some sweat equity that you put into it as well.
And involvement.
Now, I'm curious though, so you're out at Franklin Pierce University, which is not, you know, it's not a hop, skip, and a jump from Brattleboro. So what do you do between meetings? I mean, how do you, you know, you're out there in Ringe, I think,
Yes,
Ringe, New
Ringe.
Hampshire. Do you connect? Is there a Rotary Club in Ringe, or?
There isn't a Rotary Club in Ringe necessarily, but there's one in Jaffrey, and they meet at Franklin Pierce actually on Thursday mornings.
Wow.
Yeah. I have yet to go to a meeting due to all of my class schedules and work schedules and everything, but it is a hope of mine that before I graduate, I'll be able to attend at least one meeting.
Got to get to that. Well, but I'm sure it's you know right there in the school. And all right, well,
yeah, I try to keep in contact with other Rotarians from the Brattleboro Club and see if there's anything that I need to do. For example, before my spring break started, Kevin Yeager reached out to me and he asked me if I wanted to help with the 3-on-3 basketball tournament that we just did this past Saturday. And right after spring break started, I was over there at the high school helping out.
That is great. No, that is really fantastic. You know, and I see you're wearing your Rotary pin. Do you wear? Yeah, I'm going to tell you that. Wherever I go, I wear my pin, and that does a lot of people. There's a lot of members out there, and people recognize that.
Right,
so that's really a good sign. Well, last question for you what is the best thing for you about being a Rotarian?
Honestly, I think it's just getting to meet so many different people and bringing the community together, because there are new Rotarians every single month, and I think it's just amazing that people can get up so early in the morning to get to a meeting and socialize, and that we all have that same want to better the community and better the world. And I think that's just amazing.
Now, just so you know, in fairness, there is another club that meets for lunch.
This is true.
We don't have to get up early to do that, and you know, you might want to think about. And you can come anytime and be my guest for lunch.
I would love to come.
Okay, that would be great. Well, I thank you for coming on the show. I'd like to thank our guests Turner Lewis and Bethany Martin, and a shout out to Kevin Yeager, Sunrise Rotarian, who's doing all the stuff, you know, behind the scenes. I'd also like to thank Roland Boyden from BCTV, who is just fantastic doing all that magic that really helps us bring the show to you, and BCTV, which has given us the opportunity to talk about Rotary Cares. If you have any questions, concerns, or even ideas for future shows, send them along to info@BrattleboroRotaryClub.org. info@BrattleboroRotaryClub.org. I'm Marty Cohn. Thanks for watching.